Okay, welcome interwebs. So I'm working on the Black Widow Galant VR4 today, and this is going to be one of the last couple mods that we're going to be doing to the car. I've already kind of installed it, So what I got going on today is we're going to install the AEM UEGO wideband O2 sensor gauge, and with the sensor and everything. So it should actually work better than on the Galant VR4 than it does on the Eclipse. I've actually installed one on the Eclipse before, so I know how to do it. I did a write-up on DSM tuners, which has disappeared now. I think it might still be on DSM tuners, but I'm going to make a video of how to install one on the Galant VR4. It should be better on the Galant VR4 because on an OBD2 car, it wants you to connect stuff to the O2 sensor heater circuit and stuff, and it checks that stuff, and if you don't have an O2 sensor hooked up to it, it starts to freak out and it throws a code. This car is OBD1. I don't think it will do that. hopefully it won't. If not, we'll still have to hook it up. But basically what Hades Omega is going to do is well, let's show you what I. By the way, I took today off of work. I don't know, maybe I will still go back to work, but if it gets too dark, I don't really want to work on the car because you guys won't be able to see stuff I'm working on. But yeah, so this is what I got. This is the AEM UEGO gauge right here, and this is my autometer boost gauge. I actually do have autometer air fuel ratio gauge here. This came with the car. The previous owner had installed it, and it does work. And so because it does work, the previous owner has already done some of the work for me. They've tracked the O2 sensor wire down for me, and it's kind of cool the setup they did. We'll take a look at it when we start getting into the wiring and everything. But yeah, so here's the AEM UEGO wideband O2 sensor. It's an all standalone wideband O2 sensor. Basically, the little thing that does all the computer calculations and stuff is from the gauge itself. So like the gauge and the O2 sensor, they work together. I'll show you the O2 sensor also. So it's going to be mounted here. I've already put it in there, but you can just take this out. Just comes right out. So we should probably take it out anyways. There's a number of different bezels and faces you can put on it. You can see the faces already like distorted and stuff. The sun like just made it look yucky because of the heat in this car, man. I had to keep it outside, man. So I went, I think there's a black bezel and a silver bezel. I went with the silver one. Maybe we can paint it chrome to match this one. This is a autometer cobalt boost gauge here. Yeah, so but yeah, this is I have the silver bezel installed with the black face to kind of match that, and it should look good. They look good together actually. It's kind of a beefier gauge. I think you can make it a white face gauge too. There might be a silver one, I'm not sure, but that's what I already put it already. So all you basically do is just unscrew this, and everything comes out. So let's take it out. There's the unit itself. It kind of just sits in there, and then the harness, the wire plugs into there, and then that's it. That's AEM part 358469, and AEM stands for Advanced Engine Management, if you guys didn't know. Make nice components for racing cars and stuff, for working on the engines and stuff. Alright, so that's the gauge. Let's go check out what I got. Okay, so the last couple parts. So yeah, if you guys watched my update video, I cleaned my trunk up, and there's not a lot of parts in here anymore. I can actually put stuff in the trunk now. So here it is. This is actually I had bought this gauge from somebody on Craigslist. It had been used already. I hope it still works. I don't know if it works or not. But I actually had all this stuff. This is actually from the gauge that came in the Eclipse. I didn't get all the goodies with it. They just basically gave me this plastic bag with the gauge and everything in it. But this is what you get. You get this AEM UEGO, gauge type UEGO controller. There you go. That's what that gauge is. It's the controller for the. And we'll see what's inside here. Alright, so I do have this gauge cup thing. I think this is for my motorcycle. When I had a boost gauge installed on it. Okay, these are the little bezels I was talking about. Oh yeah, the bezels don't have the little film on it. There's a black one, a black face, and I think there's a white face also. There's 2 black faces. Oh, okay, I see. So if you look at this, you can set it up how you want, but I have it. This one tells you air-fuel ratio, and then this one is in lambda. That's another unit right there. And then I think the one on the car is air-fuel ratio. Oh, that's a good question. I have 2 of them. I don't have the white one. Oh, the white one's in the Eclipse. Let's see. Let me see. All right, just to give you an idea what it looks like, it's that one right there. That's the white one right there. I think I used it in the Eclipse. That's why I don't have the white one. You can kind of make it out. There you go. See ya? It's white. Sorry, my Eclipse is so dirty. I'm gonna wash it one of these days. But yeah, that's the gauge. That was that's the white bezel. If you guys are wondering what it looks like, and it is an air-fuel ratio. So I'm guessing it comes in. You get 4 of them. You get a lambda one. You get 2 lambda ones, a white one and a black one, and then you get a air-fuel ratio white one and a black one. And I guess they didn't give me the white one. It must have been the one I'm using already. So, and then it comes with 2 different bezels, a black one and that silver one that you saw. Yeah. Okay. And what is this? This is, oh, look at this. This is something Hades UEGO made. Right here. I made this with Photoshop. This is a ECU diagram for for installing a Super AFC is what it is. This is Hades UEGO made this for installing a Super AFC. Pretty cool. It tells you where the wires are and what colors they are and how to install it. What connectors and pins and stuff. But that has, well, that should work on a 2G. This shouldn't work on this car though, so it's not really going to help us much. It comes with some little connectors and some screws. Screw the gauges in. I got 3 of them for some reason. So all my random gauge stuff, I just throw it in here. And then it comes with the manual. The manual is very important because we're going to need that. So there's the manual. We'll be taking a look at that later if I remember how to install it properly. And here's the gauge. I'm not sure what car they have this installed on. Maybe it's a Civic or something. Hopefully it works. There's the gauge right there. So this is a Bosch O2 sensor. It's a fairly common wideband O2 sensor. I think you can buy them. You can buy them like over the counter or whatever. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here, man. Maybe we won't be able to install this. I'm looking at this and it looks kind of funny. Okay, yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. It's been a minute since Hades UEGO has installed one of these gauges. So here, this is your O2 sensor harness. This long one here, and it connects here to the O2 sensor. So if you want to replace the O2 sensor, I think it's a common Bosch one. It's not super duper expensive, I think, which is good. If the O2 sensor is bad, this one looks like it's in good shape. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's got too many miles on it. It's not, you have all carboned up and stuff. And then it goes to this harness here, and then this harness connects to the side of the gauge. I think this one here, the 6-pin one, is showing. And then it has a secondary harness, which I hope is long enough, which connects to the 4-pin connector here on your gauge thing. So this is the computer, man. This controls everything. And then this is where you connect all your stuff to in the car. So basically, yeah, so you have a red. It's already been cut and stuff. So there's a red wire, that's 12 volts power. There's a ground, and then there's a white output and a serial output. Boy. 0 to 5 volts. I think we're connecting it to the white wire. That's okay. So let me tell you how we're gonna install this. So basically, oh yeah. Okay, so the way we're gonna install this is the Black Widow Galant VR4 has a narrowband O2 sensor. Operates from 0 to 1 volts. So a wideband operates from 0 to 5 volts. That's why it's more accurate. It has better resolution, more voltage to work with. But the ECU is calibrated to work with the narrowband. So then we got a problem like that. So the way we're gonna install it is we're gonna take the stock O2 sensor out, and then we're gonna install the Bosch the wideband O2 sensor in place of it. It's going to replace our O2 sensor. Okay, so the problem is the wideband operates in 0 to 5 volts. So there's a trick you can do with the UEGO. Okay, so so the proper mode for to set the AEM UEGO gauge to is P4. It says it P4 right here. So it's 0 to 1 volt. So basically, it emulates a nonlinear Nernst cell calibration, 0 to 1 volt. Some of them say 0 to 1 volts also, but that's the one that I use on the Eclipse, and it works fine. You can see here, this is my actual write-up on DSM Tuners, Hayes Omega, how to install AEM UEGO wideband and a 2G turbo in place of stock O2 sensor. It should be pretty similar for a 1G, except the wire is probably different on the ECU, but we don't have to worry about that because we already found the wire. So yeah. So what that does is it lets you use the wideband O2 sensor, but it translates it or emulates it and sends a narrowband signal to your ECU, so your ECU doesn't freak out when it sees like 5 volts or something. It's only designed to work from 0 to 1 volts, not 0 to 5. So the wideband works on 0 to 5. That's why it's more accurate. So that's the first step we need to do. We need to set that to mode P4, and I will show you how to do that. And yeah, so so that's pretty much it. We need to set the gauge to P4 mode, and then we need to wire in all this stuff, and then install the O2 sensor, and then run that into the engine bay. So the hardest part of the install will probably be getting this damn O2 sensor into the engine bay. I hate fishing stuff into the engine bay. I've done it many times, but believe it or not, on a non-turbo Eclipse, the ECU is in the engine bay, so you got to do all your work from the engine bay into the car. So it's pain in the ass. This car, not so bad. The ECU is inside the car, so it's a little easier to work with. So yeah, so I got all the tools for success. Let's go ahead and do it. So I got it. I showed you the gauge. I showed you the you can change the faces and everything. I showed you the O2 sensor harness, the harness to give power to the gauge, and I think you're supposed to connect the white wire to it. Yeah, I'll look on the thing. So changing the gauge configuration, didn't say anything about the white wire, but like I said, I have my guide here. Okay, so I read my instructions here, and it says take the white wire on your harness and splice it into the wire you just found. Basically, that's the O2 sensor wire. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect the O2 sensor wire, and then yeah, all we're gonna do is disconnect it, and then I'm gonna plug it with some like electrical tape so stuff doesn't get in there and mess your ECU up. And then we're just gonna connect the white wire on this harness here to the O2 sensor, to where the O2 sensor is hooked up to right now, and then what it's gonna do is gonna send a signal to the ECU, what the voltage is for when it translates it. So, and then that's the way that works. So that's how you install the AEM UEGO on a car that doesn't have a narrowband, doesn't have a wideband. So, all right, so that's an introduction video. Let's the next video. We're gonna get started. All right, here's me go.